penultimate award for this evening. It's sponsored by Prog Rocks, and it's destined to go to someone or a band who would have spent their whole lives making music, advancing the cause of prog. Here to tell us a little bit about the band and perhaps how Michael Eavis ended up with such a strange beard is Prog Magazine's lead writer, author of many, many books on Peter Gabriel, Sparks, Chic, to name a few. It's Darryl Easley. Come on up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a lovely night we're having. Yes? It's an absolute pleasure to be asked to present this award. I think in the words of the poets and philosophers, the Pointer Sisters, I'm so excited I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I'm sure some of you in the room are aware of social media. A common standby post these days is from someone lucky enough to be in or on the fringes of show business of a certain age, and they write a post which starts, if my teenage self only knew what I'd be doing today, he wouldn't have believed it. You can probably guess what my post home on the Vomit Comet tonight will be. The recipients of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award released a double live album in the 1970s. I realise that narrows it down to at least 250 of you in this room. But I bought it with my 11th birthday money, and I, like many, listened enraptured. Back then, I had no idea what contrapuntal meant, but that and pretentious were two words I learnt as a teenage fan of this group. Contrapuntal was frequently used to describe their music. Their sense of humour subtly deflated critics of their contrapuntal music by having the word pretentious as a flashing neon sign behind them on stage. In the select club of UK progressive bands, they stood quite alone, a shifting blend of styles and ideas, unafraid to rock out or display their blues and R&B credentials. They also showed an amazing mastery of the medieval, with complex vocal arrangements and time structures that could bewilder, yet never stood in the way of a good tune. Roger Dean designed one of their sleeves. They had an old English font for their logo, and that may have kept a few away who thought they were far too nonny for them. Nothing could have actually been further from the truth. For those who got it, their music was a compendium of ever-giving joy. Formed in 1970 from the ashes of a pop psych band, and then adding a blues guitarist and a graduate from the Royal College of Music, they went on to work for a decade, releasing 11 studio albums and gaining a select but fervent band of fans around the world. They put a statement on one of their album sleeves which said, "It is our goal to expand the frontiers of contemporary popular music at the risk of being very unpopular." One album sleeve they had listed 46 separate instruments they played. One of their tunes has gone on to be sampled by the US alt rapper Twisted. Die Motherfucker Die, I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. In certain circles, a mention of their name today is still like some prog Masonic handshake. Although I can now look on Wikipedia and glance and try and fathom out contrapuntal, and I've heard a great deal of music far more pretentious than theirs, hearing them takes me effortlessly back to the time when through them I was introduced to both words. They are still rather fabulous. It is an absolute pleasure to announce the recipients of this year's Progressive Music Awards Lifetime Achievement Honour. To accept their award, Mr. Derek Shulman, Mr. Ray Shulman and Kerry Minnear. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, Gentle Giant.
Thank you. That was pretentious. I can't multitask, I'm sorry. Give me a second. Ray actually, I said, what am I going to do? He actually texted me what I'm supposed to say right now. So I just want to thank the people at Universal who've been very responsible for us to be here. Daryl, thank you very much for helping out here. I want to thank the people who actually were there at the beginning when we were moving from Simon Dupree and the Big Sound to Gentle Giant, and some people who some of you probably don't know, but I want to tell you about them. There was a guy called Olaf Weiper who signed the band to Vertigo in the very early days of 1970. Jerry Braun, our original manager, who actually spent 1 year from Simon Dupree to Gentle Giant investing his money into putting this band together without any concept of what we would become or who would become. So in this day and age, doing that says a lot. Tony Visconti, who produced our first record, first two records actually. The first one we had no clue how to do it and what to do. I'm going to prattle on a bit. If I speak too long, just say stop, get out of here, get the cane. But Tony was incredibly proactive. We looked at every move he made on the first album, and then on the second album, Ray and myself and Kerry and the band started looking at his shuffles and said, after the second record, Acquiring the Taste, we jumped in and said, we can do it ourselves, it's okay. Terry Ellis, who was our first real manager after the band is a worldwide artist, I'm sorry. Rupert Perry, who signed the band to Capitol in North America. Martin Russian, who was an incredible engineer, co-producer who worked with us on Octopus, which you just saw from Roger's art. We're actually re-releasing with Stephen Wilson again. Stephen remixed it for us. It's coming out in the fall. Just a little plug. And Prog Magazine and Jerry Ewing and your staff, thank you very, very much, honestly. It's amazing that we're here for our Lifetime Achievement Award when we were only together for 10 years. I hope everyone out here still working and still doing after all these years are not too pissed off at us. You know, I want to just say that I want to thank three bands that were very important for us in our 10-year career. The first band, I have to say, were incredibly magnanimous. Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull. Ian invited us to go on the road and take us on tour in North America and in Europe, all over Europe. And that was the point in early 1972 where we started breaking through in certain territories like Italy, Germany, Canada, and becoming fairly important in our own right. And they were friends then, and they're still friends now, and Ian and ourselves are still very good friends. Another band that is important to us was Black Sabbath. We toured, believe it or not, with Black Sabbath in North America, and we learned the highest end of debauchery that could be ever seen on the road, honestly. And lastly, the last artist was Jimi Hendrix. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we were told when we first started we're going to tour, this is literally early in 1970, 71, we're going to tour with Jimi Hendrix. And Ray and myself said, what do you mean Jimi Hendrix? Jimi Hendrix he died a couple of years ago. This is our first agent. And the agent said, no, we've got something going on. I said, okay, what is it? So in fact, there was a tour we laid out in front of us. And in fact, what it was that we were going to play support to a Jimi Hendrix movie. So that was our first tour. So literally, we actually played support to the movie. We played our set, and then they put the screen up, and the Jimi Hendrix movie was played. So that's just to give you a perspective of what you have to do to get to where you have to go. That was a very interesting point, just for myself anyway. I want to thank everyone here and the people at Prog Rock and Jerry and yourselves. And personally, I'm going to want to say one thing. I'm personally honored to be a part of the band that two musicians who are the most brilliant and creative people that are standing on stage with me are part of. Ray, my brother, and Kerry and Minnear, the most brilliant musicians you could ever have in the band. Thank you very much. Thank you.